at the Phoenix Comic-Con with Grace Randolph, the creator of Supurbia and host of Beyond the Trailer. How are you doing today?
How are you? Thanks for coming to interview me today.
I'm well. Has the convention been treating you well?
It's wonderful. I've heard a lot of good things about Phoenix Comic-Con beforehand, but I'd never had the chance to go, and so when they invited me as a guest this year, I got to see for myself firsthand, and it's a fantastic convention.
I know you're a long-time host with one thing or another. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about your most recent project, Beyond the Trailer?
Beyond the Trailer has been around since 2008, November 2008, and it's a YouTube show where I do movie reviews, movie news, trailer reviews, and it's basically trying to do, a behind-the-scenes look at the business of Hollywood and the movies they have coming out.
I've known you personally longer as a host before as your comic book work. I was really interested when you started bringing out Supurbia.
Oh, good.
Can you tell our viewers a little bit about Supurbia?
Sure. Supurbia, it started out as a mini-series here at Boom, and it's about the husbands, wives, and children of superheroes. It's like taking a look at what it's like in that world, but from the perspective of Lois Lane, of, Mary Jane, Gwen Stacy, Commissioner Gordon, like those kind of characters, and exploring what their sacrifices are, and also just trying to look at superheroes through a more realistic lens.
How did you get the idea of going this route as the family side of things?
Well, I've always been more interested in the supporting characters. I think they're really cool, and so I thought that I thought it would be interesting. I thought I was reading so much of the same stuff every time I read the big two, that I was like, it's not changing. They aren't able to take risks. So I thought, wouldn't it be great to kind of have a comic book where you could do that, where the status quo could change? Characters think horrible things could happen to them that would stick. They wouldn't be like retconned.
Hey, you created whole new heroes for yourself. Was that hard to make them iconic for your book, but with all the other characters out there?
Well, there are archetypes of some superheroes that you'll probably recognize. But as I said, it was my opportunity to do with those characters what I felt was fresh. But it is a lot of work, and especially because it's such a big cast. I would liken it to a show like Mad Men that also has a big cast. Like it's more like a show than a comic book. And but as far as the spouses go, I felt like it would be interesting to pair them up not with like their ideal partner, but who they would realistically meet in real life. Like you don't marry like your ideal partner; you marry who you met. So I was like, who would a Wonder Woman character actually meet? Who would actually be willing to put up with that on a day-to-day basis? And so that's how I picked a spouse for her.
And has it been a big boost for you that it's been such widely received and people have been enjoying it so much?
Well, it's been a slow build. I think it's always tough for a small book. But Boom has been such a wonderful publisher. They've done such a great job getting it out there. Of course, Bleeding Cool, which hosts my other YouTube show, Think About the Ink, has been very supportive as well, and I'm lucky that Rich likes the book. And, there's been a lot of support also from the review community, reviewers who review comics, and they've been really wonderful about it and have said great things about it, and I think that's what's attributed to the slow burn. I also found out that some real retailers have been really supportive as well. I was at Calgary Expo, and I talked to a retailer who said they've been really pushing the book, and that's really integral to the success of a small book.
As a internet review host, what kind of responsibilities do you have behind the scenes?
Oh, you mean with my show?
Yes, with Beyond the Trailer.
Well, with Beyond the Trailer, it's always trying to stay ahead of the curve, knowing what's going to be popular, trying to figure out what's going to be popular ahead of time, trying to be balanced, fair and balanced, try and represent all the viewers out there, but at the same time, give them something to think about. So it's a responsibility I take very seriously, and I'm really grateful that people like the show and tune into it, and I want to make sure it maintains its quality, and also that it's constantly evolving. I think that YouTube is a competitive marketplace, and so I'm always trying to make sure that Beyond the Trailer is the best it can be.
A lot of people are interested in starting their own review series and or their own YouTube series, whatever the case may be. What kind of advice would you give them? Not any particular reason like I have my own YouTube show or anything, but for the others out there.
For everyone, I would just say it takes an incredible amount of work. I mean, it's not a hobby, it's a job. And I would also say that it takes time. success doesn't start overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Beyond the Trailer, as I said, has been around since 2008, November 2008. And before that, I had another show called Review, which started in 2007, I think September 2007. And when I started thinking about the ink just most recently, that took a couple months to have it get up too. So if you don't have big numbers at the beginning, don't be discouraged. Try and figure out, if it's just because you're new or maybe there's something else you could do. But it's never, you're never going to be totally done. But keep in mind that, as I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
And beyond the trailer, you go to the cinemas and talk with the people who've just seen the movie. How is it interacting with just these people that have just come out and getting to know them a little bit and their experiences with the movies?
Oh, it's really great. It's actually very hard to get people to be on camera. Most people don't want to be on camera.
I know.
I'm sure you can back me up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes people are like, oh, why don't you get more people for the review? And it's like, we stayed for 3 showings, and that's that's how everyone we could get. But and for some movies, though, like recently for Gatsby, we got a ton of people who wanted to talk about it. So I think that's also really, you can tell if a movie's really going to do well if it inspires people to want to be on camera. So that's always interesting to see. And I like talking to people. I think people always have really interesting insight that I didn't think of because everyone's different. So it's really fascinating to see what people spark to about a movie.
And lastly, since you're usually on the other side of an interview, how have I been doing?
Excellent. It's very nice. It's very cool. It's always fun to talk to a fellow YouTuber, and I appreciate that you wanted to come. And thanks for putting out the word about Supurbia. I'm very, very proud of it. I'm very happy to be with Boom Studios, and I have a wonderful artist, Russell Donnerman, who I'm very lucky to be teamed up with as well.
And where can the people at home find all your works, all your YouTube links and all that?
Sure. On YouTube, you can just search for Beyond the Trailer, which is the movie news, or Think About the Ink, which is the comic book channel. And then for Supurbia, you can find that, you can either go to your local comic book store, or you always buy it online from some retailers, or go to Comixology. It's available digitally as well.
Well, thank you very much for talking with us, and I hope you enjoy what's left of the convention.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad you caught me.